Remember, always when you're on like the Tonight Show, the cup
Yeah.
always had like guest number one
Yeah.
on it. How are you,
Good
pal?
to see you, brother.
How you doing?
I'm doing well.
I hear all about you. Your show's better than ever. You're getting your walk on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Your divorce went through. You must be on cloud nine.
It's good. Look, it's a pendulum, and it's either coming down or it's heading up. Like, you know, the business, and it's been heading up for the last short period of time.
But
and it feels good.
But sometimes one part of your life is going great and the other isn't. I certainly have had that situation.
Yeah.
Where, like, I remember when I was in my early mid-30s, you know, I was in a very successful relationship, but my career had taken that dip.
Right.
You know, the worst part of a career, a comic, two really bad parts. One, when you start, that's really tough, like first year or two.
Yeah.
And then there's like, oh, you think you're on your way.
Right.
You know, you do a couple of sitcoms, it's like, and then, you know, there's that like, not so fast.
Yeah, no, it is weird. Like, I got out of the gate, the first two shows I really did, which was Loveline on MTV and then The Man Show on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Both of them were destined for other networks. Loveline was supposed to be a syndicated show, and The Man Show was a pilot from ABC, and they didn't get picked up, but they both ended up on MTV and then ended up on Comedy Central, and those were my first two endeavors. So I was like, oh, this is so easy. You know, it just, by the way, if the first network doesn't pick you up, the second one does. And it just all came so quickly and so easily.
Yeah.
And then I realized at some point, oh no, it's a slog, it's a struggle, there's lots of setbacks,
Well,
and
I
that's
mean,
the way it goes.
Even Frank Sinatra, you know, maybe the greatest career, or certainly among the top five, who was like a giant phenomenon of a star, like Justin Bieber at his peak, whatever that was, Harry Styles today. In 1939, early 40s, the war years, Bobby Soxers, just people screaming lines around the block, just like, and then you go to 1950, couldn't get arrested. That's the subplot of The Godfather, the movie plot. Like Johnny Fontaine never gets this part. Right. That was Sinatra. Supposedly, you know, Sinatra had the same story. Somebody had to threaten the band leader to get him out of his contract.
You know, it's kind of sad that guys like Elvis weren't alive to see the ascension, the second. You know what I mean? Like when Elvis died, he was kind of a joke, and everyone wanted to see Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and not your dad's fat guy with his suit on and stuff like that.
There's a picture of him right over there.
Oh, sorry, King.
And he's not.
No, but what I'm
he's
saying,
not fat.
What I'm saying is my daughter and her friends saw the Elvis movie 19 times. You know, they don't. Elvis didn't get to see his movie. Yeah, they loved it.
They loved the Baz Luhrmann movie.
Yes, and what I'm saying is nobody was bigger than Elvis, and then Elvis became a sort of parody of himself and was sort of on the decline and gained the weight, the drugs and everything else, and then he died. He didn't get to then swing back and experience this resurrection.
He did, not in your liberal bubble, Adam, but he had a very brief period where he was the thing. That's 1956 until he goes into the Army in really just a couple of years. Then he went into the Army. When he came out of the Army, that fucking criminal immigrant, illegal immigrant, who was his manager.
The Colonel Tom Parker.
Thank you. Yes, let's name him. He's very famous.
Yes.
He kept him in this sort of indentured servitude. Elvis, with all his psychological problems and mommy and daddy issues and all this stuff, and he just couldn't break away from this guy. So he kept him in the movies, you know, these, what Elvis called travelogues, they're all the same, Clam Bake and Speedway and, you know, like forgettable songs. And because most of the country, not your liberal bubble, Adam,
I do hang out with those people.
was
Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and Neil Young.
was still going to see Elvis movies.
Yeah, I get it. I guess you know what I say when I interview an athlete or anybody, who had great success or was a Super Bowl MVP or something like that, I always ask them, was your dad around to see it? You know what I mean? Because it's poignant to me.
Poignant to me because my dad wasn't.
Around to see you win the Super Bowl?
No, basically in life.
Right. No, yeah, sorry I'm not kidding around, but you're a very successful guy. You've made quite an impact on society, and any father would go, oh my God,
but
this would be
especially
great.
because my father was a newsman and a funny guy, and I'm a funny guy who made it successfully talking about the news. So it would have been different if I went into the soft ice cream business and was a giant success. But the fact that I sort of followed where he was heading, I think would have been very poignant.
But when he died, you were dealing weed and eating top ramen, and that's his last memory of you, right?
No, basically, he saw me do the Tonight Show, but he died just before Politically Incorrect went on, which would have been the perfect thing for him to see. And I wish I was one of those people who could say, well, but he's watching from upstairs. But unfortunately, he's not upstairs, he's dead.
Well, if it's any consolation, my dad made it all the way through my career and still didn't give a shit. So
really?
Yes, never a thing. Never had cable, never knew what I was doing. So
why is that?
I don't know how it works, but my mom and my dad somehow found each other, like the two parents who care the least. Maybe it was some sort of symposium for potential parents who didn't care. But neither one of them ever had cable. They never knew what I was up to. They never had any interest, and we're not there to see any of it.
And what about childhood? Same deal?
Yeah. I'll tell you something about disappointers. They never disappoint. They're always who they are.
Right.
It's never like, oh no, my mom was the best, and then lost total interest, in me once I got into show business.
So they were together and there when you were a kid, but just not interested in you.
They had kids and didn't know it, but we're there. You know what I mean?
But wasn't that sort of good sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, in general, you get a very realistic version of the world. You know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna hop out and make you dinner and make you breakfast and tuck you in and sort of take care of you. Like it was like. It gives you, when your parents, and especially mom, aren't big fans and don't do a lot, you get really independent really fast, and you get a very sober version of the world and how you fit into it, and is anyone going to do anything for you, or you're going to have to sort of take care of your own stuff? Like, there's a version of it where the mom dotes over the little prince and he can do no wrong, and those guys get ruined because they show up in the real world expecting to have rose petals thrown down at their feet, and they get disappointed another direction. So, like, it is good in terms of getting independent and getting realistic. It doesn't make for a great childhood, but it's like, it's good. It's good training.